NFL this weekend. They didn't even have him on his board, on their board. They took him off, and they took him off because the owner said take him off. I don't want that guy. I don't want this entitled person on our team.
Clearly, it's not about talent anymore. It's about something else. And I'm going to tell you, I spent a large amount of the last 24 hours thinking about nothing more than I was thinking about collusion. Because how in the hell does 32 teams in the National Football League pass on a quarterback that was universally recognized one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the country entering this draft, and 32 teams passed on him? Not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 different times they passed on him. How the hell has that happened? We've never seen anything like this before. We've seen guys drop because of injuries. We've seen guys drop because of off-field issues, but we've never seen a quarterback projected to be a top 20 pick, universally recognized one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft, projected to be a first rounder, in all likelihood a safe bet of a late first rounder, and drop literally to the 5th round. We haven't seen anything like that.
Tom Brady just got yanked into the messy drama swirling around Shedeur Sanders' NFL draft chaos, and people are firing shots at him from every angle. Fans are calling him out hard, saying he straight up disappeared when Shedeur needed backup the most. But Tom's not staying quiet. He's firing back. He claims he tried, but the whole league already had it out for Shedeur and his brother Shiloh. Brady's saying the NFL blackballed them both, and did it deliberately. Now remember, Tom's been seen as Deion's go-to guy, a mentor figure for Shedeur. So when draft day came and nobody called Shedeur's name, fans were like, "Yo, Tom, where were you?" They expected him to make moves, drop names, call in favors, whatever it took to open those doors. But Tom says it wasn't that simple. He says the NFL shut everything down on purpose. And the worst part? Insiders are whispering that this whole thing was a power play. They say the league wanted to send a message and use Deion's sons to do it. But now, the real questions got people buzzing. What did Deion do to get his kids caught in the middle of this smoke? Something ain't lining up, and the streets are getting loud. And guess who's getting roasted the hardest right now? Tom Brady, the golden boy himself, with his name all over the blame game. Things are heating up fast. Skip Bayless is throwing heavy shade, and he's coming straight for Tom Brady's neck. On Twitter, Skip flat out accused Tom of sabotaging Shedeur Sanders' draft shot. One tweet hit hard. It is now pretty clear. Tom Brady, who mentored Shedeur, told the Raiders not to take him. Duly noted. That alone shook fans. But Skip didn't stop there. He followed up with another jab. How could Tom Brady's team pass on Shedeur again? And again. And again. Boom. Drama level sky high. And here's why this hits different. Tom Brady isn't just a football legend. He owns a chunk of the Las Vegas Raiders. Yeah, that exact team. So when Shedeur didn't get picked by one of the flashiest franchises in the league, fans were like, wait, what? Everyone thought it was a done deal. But nope, no call, no pick. And now the streets are asking, did Tom block the move himself? Let's get even messier. Tom's been mentoring Shedeur for nearly 5 years. They've trained side by side, hit the field together, done press interviews, all that. Tom's hyped him up for years, calling him focused, talented, and telling him to keep grinding. So now folks are confused. Was that all cap? Did Tom just say the right things for the cameras while making backdoor moves behind the scenes?
Question before I go, Tom, do you think a college kid needs a Phantom, like a Rolls Royce?
Nah, hey, no, it's not a Phantom. It's a Rolls Royce Cullinan.
I think he needs to get his ass in the film room and spend as much time in there as possible.
Thank you,
less
Tom.
time in the car and more time in the film room.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate
And I
that.
seen you have one too, Tom. Don't think I seen.
I was just a rental. Hey, I had a few bucks in my pocket at that point. I've seen some car stories when we're together.
He's got the power. Part owner, GOAT status, legendary influence, and here's the wild twist. People ain't forgetting Tom's own story. Dude was picked 199th in the 6th round back in 2000. He knows what it feels like to get passed up again and again, even when the talent is right there. So why wouldn't he do everything in his power to make sure Shedeur didn't go through the same? Why did Shedeur drop so far in the draft? 'Cause some real-deal power players in the NFL were making moves behind closed doors, and it wasn't by accident. According to multiple reports, top league insiders were straight up plotting to shut down Shedeur Sanders and the rest of Deion's boys, all while keeping it low-key and silent. These folks weren't just delaying his draft chances. Nah, they wanted to humiliate him. Sources claim they pulled every string they could to make sure Shedeur wouldn't be a first-round pick, or even a second. Their goal? Push him so far down the list, teams would start second-guessing even looking his way. They didn't just want him picked late, they wanted him practically erased from the draft board for most teams. That's sabotage at the highest level. When the 2025 draft season kicked off, the buzz had Shedeur going early, top of the first round or at worst early third. But what actually went down? Dude got scooped in the 5th round, 144th overall. That's not just a slip. That's blatant disrespect. Fans were shook. Shocking! Doesn't even cover it. The whispers started flying immediately. Something shady was clearly popping behind the scenes. Deion Sanders ain't just a Hall of Famer, he's a full-blown icon. This man changed the entire energy of football. He didn't just play with skill, he played with swagger, flash, flair, and straight confidence that had people either idolizing him or hoping he'd disappear. When Deion stepped on that field, it wasn't just game time, it was his show, and everyone knew it. Now here's the real question that's got everybody talking. Is the NFL punishing Shedeur just because of who his father is? Or is the league scared of another Sanders shaking up the whole system again? 'Cause let's keep it real, Deion didn't just compete, he owned the game. He'd showboat in front of whole squads, talk wild trash, and then back it up every single time. The man was electric, athletic, bold, and unstoppable. Folks are still in awe of what Deion did on the field. So, with that kind of bloodline, you'd think Shedeur would have been a lock for at least the top 3 rounds. Easy. But nah, the league had other plans. Even the President of the United States chimed in like, what is wrong with NFL owners? Are they stupid? Yup. Those were his actual words. He called Deion one of the greatest college players ever, and said he was even better in the NFL. Then he backed it up, saying Deion's a sharp, street-smart coach and that his son got superstar genes. His words? He should be picked immediately by a team that wants to win. But what happened? Nothing. Shedeur didn't even get a sniff from top teams, and folks were left scratching their heads in disbelief. That's right. This ain't just about Shedeur's stats. This was about putting all 3 of them, Deion, Shedeur, and Shiloh, in check. Word is, the league felt like they were getting too bold, too loud, too unapologetically confident, and the higher-ups didn't like that one bit. But here's where things get real uncomfortable. People online started pointing fingers and asking, yo, who's really behind this whole mess? Is it Deion's flashy energy? Is it Shedeur's confidence? Or is Tom Brady quietly playing a role in the background? And then came the theory that's got folks heated. Some believe Shedeur and his brothers don't fit the NFL's preferred image for black athletes. You know the one. The league loves a come-up story soaked in struggle. Grew up broke, mom on drugs, dad behind bars, life in the trenches. That backstory gets boosted like it's some draft credential. But Shedeur, that's not his life. He grew up with 2 successful parents. His dad's a football legend, and his mom's been solid from the jump. No dark backstory, no trauma to profit off. Just a young man raised with love, support, and generational wealth, and that seems to bother people. It's like the NFL doesn't know what to do when a young black athlete steps in without pain all over his story. They expect struggle before they hand you your shot. And if it's not there, they act like you're missing something. And that's the Sanders brothers in a nutshell. They didn't grow up fighting for scraps or running from chaos. They were protected, uplifted, and given the space to thrive. And instead of celebrating that, it feels like the league's trying to punish them for it. You've seen it. Deion hugging his sons, coaching them, pushing them to level up right out in the open. A proud father building greatness with his own hands.
With Tom, did it come about through your dad or something else?
Well, far back, I'll say a couple years ago, he extended his hand. He was like, come work out with me in Tampa. We flew down there. Dad came and we rode with him. He took me in his truck to this field, to his high school field. Then from then on, he was just telling me knowledge, and I filmed everything. I recorded everything. So now, even sometimes I go back and just listen to the things that he said at that time, and it registers. You know, everything that he said back then registers now, and it applies. So that's what I'm thankful for.
But here's what really messes with people's heads. Even with all that so-called privilege, the Sanders boys can really play. They're not just riding on Deion's name, they're bringing real smoke on that field. Like someone once said, that kind of talent is in the DNA, you can bank on it. But apparently, none of that matters. Why? 'Cause Shedeur and his brothers ain't out here crying for sympathy or telling some sob story about the hood saving them. They're not begging the NFL to rescue their mama from the trenches. And that right there seems to be the problem. Truth is, drafted or not, Shedeur and Shiloh are gonna be just fine. Yeah, missing those early round stings, no doubt. But financially, they're already good. And that's what's really grinding gears in those boardrooms. Word on the street is, the execs hated that the Sanders boys didn't need the league to survive, and that's where all the tension kicked off. But things didn't stop there, they spiraled. Multiple insiders say Shedeur seriously fumbled his pre-draft interviews and it might have cost him everything. Some reports say he skipped out on multiple interviews, citing injury, but others claim he just ghosted meetings completely. And when he did show up, he came off distant, cocky, and like he just didn't care. One NFL assistant coach didn't hold back. He said it was the worst interview he's ever sat through. According to him, Shedeur came off entitled, like the league owed him something. They said Shedeur held the ball too long, showed weak body language, threw shade at his own teammates, and worst of all, didn't leave a strong impression. One coach even claimed Shedeur straight up said, "I'm not that good." And it wasn't just one coach either. Multiple reports backed it up. His whole interview season, a complete mess. And this ain't just about flubbing a conversation. These interviews are huge. It's where teams figure out if you can handle that pressure, take orders, and stay solid when the cameras are locked on you. Teams don't want a loose cannon. They want a player they can mold, manage, and trust to stay in line when things get loud. According to inside sources, a bunch of NFL execs just don't see Shedeur fitting their picture-perfect mold. But that's not even the real problem. What really got under their skin? They think Shedeur is walking in with too much pride. Word is, they believe he needs to humble himself if he's planning to last in the league. In one interview, Shedeur didn't say he was going to become a legend. He called himself a legend right now. That rubbed a lot of the old heads the wrong way. And who could forget the viral moment when he flexed that $350,000 watch in an opponent's face before kickoff? That kind of stunt had traditional NFL minds fuming. They still expect players to be seen, not heard, and definitely not flossing like that. And then he skipped drills at the NFL Scouting Combine. Silent red flag. When you accept that invite, you're expected to show up and show out. ESPN draft analyst Matt Miller didn't sugarcoat it. He said Shedeur's entire pre-draft rollout was packed with missteps. Word is, Shedeur's camp got way too comfortable. They thought his draft spot was locked in, but things took a turn real quick, especially when the interview drama started. Reports say Shedeur only agreed to meet with the top 7 NFL teams. Just 7. And that rubbed a lot of folks the wrong way. One league insider said Shedeur wasn't just answering questions, he flipped the whole script. He started questioning the teams, asking them what they'd do to support him, like he was the one running the front office. That kind of confidence? Cool if you're a locked-in top 3 pick. But Shedeur didn't have that kind of leverage. Top prospects sometimes get choosy. Some only talk to 3 teams and nobody says a word. But when he did it, suddenly he's labeled arrogant, difficult, and disconnected from reality. And even after he finally got scooped by the Cleveland Browns, the backlash didn't slow down. It got worse. Big names in the NFL world started speaking out, and one of the loudest was Hall of Famer Warren Moon. He pulled up to the Up and Adams podcast and didn't hold back. He called out Shedeur's ego and told him to get off that high horse and lose the chip on his shoulder. Warren even warned him, playing quarterback ain't like being a cornerback. When you're a QB, you're not just another player. You're the face of the franchise. That spotlight hits different. The pressure? Unforgiving. And the league's watching your every move. Warren kept it blunt. Shedeur needs to humble himself. Period. Because being a leader in the NFL isn't just about talent. It's about image, politics, and respect. You gotta play the game, whether you like it or not. Now, to be fair, Warren wasn't trying to tear him down. His words came from a real place, but still, the way he pushed that stay humble message over and over, it hit more like a warning than friendly advice, and fans caught that real quick. A lot of folks saw the whole thing as yet another slick attempt to knock Shedeur's confidence down a peg. But then came the real explosion, when Shedeur Sanders dropped a bomb in an interview that shook the whole league. He said straight up, if certain teams tried to draft Shedeur, he wouldn't recommend his son go with them. Boom! Just like that, the NFL was on fire. Insiders said team execs took that as a straight-up diss. Like Dion was saying, y'all ain't even good enough for my son. And let's keep it real. He ain't the first dad to pull a power move like that. Peyton Manning's people made plenty of calls back in the day, and nobody said a word. So, why is it different when it's Dion? Why the double standard? Some say it's personal, that Dion's got old beef still lingering from his playing days. Enemies in high places who never forgot his swagger. Others say the league never liked how loud and proud Dion's always been. That confidence, that charisma, that refusal to play small. But whatever the reason, the results don't lie. His sons got iced out, blackballed, plain and simple. Let's not act like we didn't see it. Shedeur was the hottest quarterback in college. His name was everywhere before draft day. And then, silence. He dropped way lower than expected, with no off-field mess, no scandals, and a squeaky clean record. There's no way that just happens. That's politics. Personal feelings got in the way of business, and that's foul. And let's talk about Tom Brady. A lot of folks been side-eyeing him for not stepping in when it mattered. But here's a take not everyone wants to hear. Maybe it's a good thing Tom stayed out of it, because if Shedeur had landed on the Raiders, people would have just said he got there because of Tom's pull, not his own hustle. Now, no one can question whether Shedeur earned it. He had to walk through that fire solo, and he still made it out. But what do you think? Was Shedeur really blackballed? Did the NFL do him dirty? Should Tom Brady have stepped in, or was he right to fall back? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next